live in a big land. Who knew I'd have only made mistakes that would have been fixed with a slice of cheesecake. Demo Salvatore was my 18 dream, but now the only one I be with is Chandler Bing. Yeah, here I am talking to you since I'm 30 as fuck.
Hello, sexy enchiladas. How are you today? What are you doing? Tell me. Are you grocery shopping? Are you taking a bath, having a glass of wine, your coffee in the morning? I'm having migraine right now, and I'm about to talk to you about something very important to me and very, very, I don't want to say heavy, but interested. And today we're going to go a little bit more deep into this podcast thing. So welcome to episode 3 of 30 as Fuck. I'm Vanessa Rossi, and I'm your host. And here we are another week, sharing life, wisdom, and also finding new fears, because of course they're always there. If you're still listening, this is episode 3. That might mean that I'm doing something right. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And the reason why I'm doing this or recording all of this, it is because I want to share with you all the things that I learned so far, all my fears, as I said, all doubts, and all those things that I'm meeting in my 30s, and just to make you feel seen and less lonely and understood, and make you feel that we're all in the same boat. So, episode 3, Because I Said So. So I chose this title because I said so. Literally, because I said so. Because we're about to talk about boundaries. And I felt that this exactly is the best title that I could find when I want to talk about boundaries. This beautiful and magical thing I found out about only 3 years ago, boundaries. I want to blame my native language, Italian, since there is not a real translation of this word. Like, you can translate it, but not like in mental health type of thing, or at least that's what I know. Or maybe the fault is my dysfunctional, loving family. Who knows? But 3 years ago, during a regular therapy session, regular meaning me crying over my ex, my therapy said this weird and old word, boundaries. And after she explained to me a little bit what it means and how they're supposed to look like, I was like, shit, I don't think I have any. Should I? Panic mood, of course. So let's start by saying that it took me literally more than a week to put on paper this episode. And somehow I wasn't able to wrap my mind around this concept. And I was like, shit, why? Like, I know what boundaries are. And I have them now, and I'm so proud of them. So why I cannot put it on paper? It is so complicated. So I realized how boundaries are a work in process even for me, and a mystery somehow. I feel they're so natural to me, but at the same time, it's so complicated to explain what they are and how I build them and how I keep up with them. But maybe the secret, it's exactly this, that they're so intrinsic and natural instinct that somehow it is suppressed by rules, society, and culture. And I think the big problem about boundaries is that we have been indoctrinated to feel guilty when trying to construct this system. I'll give you some examples. So after literally having a headache to be able to find those examples, I'm very proud to share with you all of this. So, do you remember when you were playing with a toy and another kid wanted to steal it from you? The first reaction was to hide the toy or run away till you heard the teacher telling you to share because that's what good children do. Or do you remember when mom and dad asked you to do something, you didn't want to do it, and you had the instinct to say no, but you wanted to avoid hearing your mom yelling for half an hour, so yes was the only option? Or when you really wanted to ask your boss for a raise, but you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable by telling you no, so you have to forget it and smile it and keep doing the job of 3 people? Well, I think we act this way because our instinct is telling us to build boundaries. I think it's a really like natural anthropological instinct, but society and culture are telling us it is wrong. They make us feel guilty. They're not directly telling us, oh, don't build boundaries, but the way they raise us to be kind with another person and share and put others people's feeling first, because that's what good people does, somehow are destroying our natural boundaries, or making us at least feel guilty when we have it. And it's not fair. Why do we have to feel guilty to not want to share what it is ours? Guilty to say no when we don't want to do something, or guilty for asking what it is right for us and what we deserve. So I feel the boundaries are really the base, the fundamental for healthy mental health and overall healthy human being. And it is not just about saying no. It is also about knowing what is right and what is wrong for ourselves, and knowing our worth, and are really directly connected to our self-esteem. And that's something that really blew my mind when I realized it, because literally more I was building my boundaries, more also my self-esteem was getting stronger. And so they give me the tools to define myself and take care of myself. And this is like maybe the most magical thing that I was able to learn in the past few years, as I reached my 30. Literally, I spent probably 30 years of my life not having any boundaries. And then someone just told me that I was supposed to, that it was healthy to have them. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Then let me build them. And I feel since I started building them, as I said, I'm more myself. And even more apologetically myself. That doesn't mean that I'm rude or stubborn. I mean, I am, or that I don't know how to compromise. I'm still a good person, even though now I have some well-defined borders. Maybe I'm even more able to put myself into others people's shoes, because I know how important it is to be able to respect others people's space and values and worth. So maybe even more caring and even more, how can I say, understanding what others people feeling and define lines. So I know it is difficult to build a nice sense of limits. As I said before, the first thing that your mind is going to make you feel is guilt, but you have to remember that others people's feelings are not directly your responsibility. Now, don't go around and tell everyone to go fuck themselves, because that's not how it works. Although sometimes I really have the urge to do so I feel you, but unfortunately we can't, okay? So keep it together. It's more about being true to yourself and letting people know that you stand for something important for you, and if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, you share it, and you also share with them your worth. So, since I don't know what it's your point right now with at what point you are with your boundaries. I don't know if you have them, if you just started, if you feel very strong about it, if you still feel guilty about it. But if you're starting right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I have them, start asking yourself, what are the things that really makes you happy? Is it always saying yes to your boss make you feel good about yourself? Does sharing your favorite dress with your sister, the one dress that you pay lots of money, make you feel good? Does the nickname that your partner gave you make you feel good about yourself? Of course, I'm giving you very stupid and basic examples, like small day-to-day kind of things, but it starts from there. It starts from small, particular and simple things. Literally, I don't know. If someone asks you to taste something from your plate and you say no, you're allowed to say no if you don't want to. Or even if they ask you, do you want to go out tonight? And you're tired and you don't want to go out tonight. You say no. That's a boundary. You don't have to make them happy if you don't feel you want to do something. If we want to go way deeper, I might want to share with you some of my new boundaries, so maybe you have a better idea about what I'm talking about. One that it's very important for me, it's I don't let people yell at me anymore. So I grew up in a family where that was the only tool of communication, a very toxic one. And literally, my parents are divorced, and they were literally just yelling at one another every single day. That was the only way of communication. And that's how I learned to communicate. I yelled at people when I was upset, because I thought that was the only way they would listen to me. And I finally realized I can walk away if someone starts yelling at me during a discussion. I know now there is other way to deal with conflict and disagreement. For example, I had an argument on the phone with my mom a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago. And she started yelling at me. And after I warned her that I didn't want to have the type of conversation with her, screaming at me for 3 times, I hung up the phone. Told her to calm down and call me back when she felt better and less upset. Years ago, I would have just yelled at her. We would have a very meaningless discussion because just yelling without listening to one another. And then we would have just pretended nothing happened and went back to regular day-to-day life. The problem is that then the issue, the reason why we were arguing will still be there. Not talking about it and just yell at each other and not listening what to the other person had to say. And really, this made me realize how important it is to have that limit set up for myself. And after I said it, I let it chill, and then we actually had a conversation, and I found out things about her that I didn't know about my past. And I let her know some things that I was still feeling about my past and everything that happened when I was young. And I also let her know that I don't blame her. And she thought I was blaming her. I was like, Mom, you're not listening. I'm not saying that I'm blaming you. I say that I understand. I'm just saying that even if I understand, that doesn't mean that what I felt, it's not valid. Another example is the standard I have for whoever will be my future partner. I know exactly how I want to be treated, and I will not settle for less. That doesn't mean I will not compromise or that the other person has to be perfect. Nobody is. But for sure, I know how I want to feel when I'm with that person. I want to feel seen, loved, sexy, the most beautiful woman on this planet. But most of all, I really want to feel safe. So I hope that all those examples will, make you feel less guilty to create some of your boundaries, or maybe you will feel proud of all your boundaries that you just created, or even allowed you to just say no a little bit more often. And even without much explanation, sometimes you can just say no. It is important to explain and let people know how you feel, but if it's too much for you right now, just say no, it's fine. And be like, I will let you know why I said no, maybe later on. For now, it's a no, and thank you for asking me to do that thing, or letting me know what you stand for, but for me, it's a no, and it's totally, totally fine. Remember, the communication is for sure the key for healthy boundaries. You can not demand somebody else to know what's going on in your head and what you want. Just tell them. Let them know what you stand for. It's absolutely fine. And if they take anything that you said as an insult, that is not on you. Who you are and what you stand for should never feel anyone uncomfortable. If that person feels uncomfortable, that means that maybe they have to define their boundaries, or they have other issues with themselves, and it's not your responsibility to fix it. You can be understandable. You can be like, hey, I'm sorry if you felt that way, but this is me, and I hope you can understand. But I never want you to feel guilty because you don't want to do something, or you just, you have defined lines about who you are and you stand straight up for it. Like, please just don't. don't. Okay? As always, everything I just share with you, of course, is a result of years of tears, exhausting anxiety, and lots of bottles of wine. So take whatever you need from it and make it yours. As I said in the previous episode, I'm not a therapist. I don't have any degree. This is literally just me sometimes having conversation with my girlfriend to be like, oh my gosh, this should be a very nice topic to talk about because it's important. And since I see that they feel the same way, I'm like, oh my gosh, who knows how many girls and women out there are feeling the same and maybe feel guilty, or they're like, oh, am I the only one? So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm sharing with you all of this. So again, take whatever you need from it and make it yours. Hoping this will help you in any way. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like this episode, please remember to like it and share it on Instagram and tag me at Vanessa D. Rossi. And nothing, I guess this is it for today. See you soon. Next episode is going to be about the idea I have of success and how it changed in the past few years. So hoping to have you back for the next episode. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.